In this lesson, I will tell you about revolve command of AutoCAD 3D. So for using revolve command, I will use this geometry here, and this geometry has been made with a polyline, and this polyline is completely closed. Now from this modeling panel of home tab and from this flyout, select this revolve command. Now you'll notice on command line that this prompts you to select the object, so select this object and press enter. So once you press enter, you have multiple options to select from command line. So right now we have an option for object, then X, Y and Z axis. So let's now select axis from these options. So here we have this Y axis, which is vertical, and X axis, which is horizontal. So let's select this Y axis as our axis of revolution. For that, click on this Y, and now it will start revolving along that y-axis. To see the effect of revolution, click on this home icon, and now you can clearly see the geometry and the change which happens here. So let's enter an angle of 360 degrees and press enter. Although this geometry might not be clear to you right now, so let's click on this visual style control and change it to shaded. And as soon as you'll do this, you'll notice the complete change which occurred here. So now this geometry has been made, and here we have this green y axis. Now let's click on this top view, and here you'll see the top view, and from this top view you can clearly see the 2D geometry which we initially had. So we had this 2D geometry which has been revolved along this central axis, and as a result of this revolution, this object has been made. So it is completely revolved like this. Now what will happen if you revolve it along some other axis? So let's press Ctrl Z and return back to the 2D geometry. Now we'll revolve it along this X axis. So let's select revolve command again, select this geometry, press enter, and select X axis from the command line. And again in this case, I'll enter an angle of 360 degrees. So 360 degrees is the angle selected by default command line. So let's press enter, and now we have a geometry which is revolved along this horizontal axis. Let's orbit this drawing to see the change, and it might not be clear in wireframe visual style, so let's select shaded, and here we have this revolved geometry which is completely different from the original geometry which we made. So now this red axis will be the origin, or will be the axis for revolution, and it will revolve like this. Let's now undo all the changes and get back to the 2D geometry. Now we can also select our custom axis for using this revolve command. So let's make a line in this XY plane, and I'll make a tapered line for our revolution axis. So here we have this tapered line as our axis. Now let's go to revolve command again, select this geometry, press enter, and from this command line select object. And now click on this object which we have made. So here's the object. Let's click here, and it will revolve along that object. Now enter the angle of revolution. So let's enter an angle of 270 degrees. In this case, I'm not entering an angle of 360 degrees now, and press enter. So let's go to visual style and change it to shaded again to see it more clearly, and let's orbit this geometry. So now here we have this geometry again, and this time as we have selected 270 degrees, you'll see that the geometry is not complete. Only 90-degree quarter has been left, and 270-degree quarter has been filled in this case. So here is the geometry which we have made. Let's orbit it. So in this way, you can use different kind of geometries for making a revolved 3D shape. And for that you can use other geometries like arc or spline as well, but the condition is that geometry needs to be completely closed. In the next section, I will tell you about sweep command of AutoCAD.